Yesterday we talked about the potential for a short squeeze possibly doubling NIO's share price in the next week. While I'm still extremely bullish on NIO stock, we do have to look at the other side of the coin, and it could fall to as low as $30. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Greg, and I make videos about the stock market and options trading. If that's the type of thing you're into, make sure you subscribe and you hit the bell so you're notified every single time that I make a video. You guys really seem to love the NIO videos that I've been putting out recently with all the comments you left. And while I appreciate each and every single one of you, there are a few comments that stood out to me. These comments came from NIO bears, and while they are a rare breed, they do bring up some valid arguments. So we're going to be looking at the bear case for NIO stock today and how it could potentially fall to $30 and what you should do next on the stock. NIO bears have been in hibernation for a long time. According to the Citron short seller report, the short interest on the stock was at 2-year lows. But what is short interest anyway? Well, just like the name suggests, this is the amount by which traders are interested in shorting the stock. The short interest on a stock is the number of shares that have been sold short and have yet to be covered or closed out. You see, whenever a short seller opens their position, they're borrowing shares from the brokerage in order to make profits on the stock falling. That way they can buy it back cheaper. And while I talked about the potential for a short squeeze yesterday, by which these short traders buy back their shares for a higher price, taking a loss and increasing the buying pressure, there is some potential for them to win this bet. After all, stocks don't only go up, unfortunately, just like we saw with NIO on Friday. And I'm attributing this mostly to the amount of short pressure that we've seen in the last few trading days. It seems like the bears on NIO have finally been let out of their cage. According to Fintel, the number of short positions more than tripled within just 2 trading days, from a short volume of 60 million to over 194 million shares shorted in one day. With a 3-fold increase in short interest in such a short amount of time, this is creating immense downward pressure for NIO stock right now, and it's likely the reason why we saw their stock sell off from $54 on Friday all the way down to $40 in just one day. That was a 25% loss intraday. That's almost unheard of, and it likely shook out a lot of the weaker hands for NIO stock. But those who are long-term bulls on NIO are probably going to be the ones coming out on top here. I outlined my bull thesis in both of my previous videos for NIO, which you can go check out on my channel. But for now, let's keep entertaining the bears. A lot of NIO bears believe that NIO will never become profitable. Citron laughed them off in their short seller report, saying that we will not even talk about NIO's profitability. And while I talked about them posting a positive earnings per share for last quarter, it seems to be a mixed bag of results. Thinkorswim was telling me that they reported a 15-cent earnings per share for the second quarter of 2020. Robinhood was saying they reported a negative 15-cent earnings per share. And MarketBeat reported a negative $1.08 earnings per share with an adjusted EPS of negative 16 cents. So what's the deal behind this? Well, each brokerage calculates the profitability in a different way. And it gets even trickier whenever it comes to foreign companies. The number that we should all be looking at here, because this is what most investors are focused on right now, is the negative 16-cent earnings per share from MarketBeat. This is the net loss for the American depository shares of NIO. And right now, a whole lot of Americans are looking at NIO stock. And while in reality the whole world is watching, institutional investors in the United States are buying NIO like no other. On Friday alone, they were dropping tens of millions of dollars on the stock. Getting back into the earnings though, while a positive adjusted earnings per share seems unreasonable right now, I wouldn't count it out altogether. And also with Wall Street setting the bar so low on their expectations, expecting a negative 17-cent earnings per share from NIO, if they end up with a huge surprise beat, this could send NIO stock rallying just like we saw from Snapchat. For Snapchat, Wall Street was expecting a negative 17-cent earnings per share, and they posted an actual earnings per share of 1 penny. So if NIO is able to report something similar to this, we could see the same kind of price movement. If earnings go south though, and they report a worse loss than they did for last quarter, then we could see their stock sell off worse than they did on Friday. Thanks to your guys' support, I will be holding a live session for their earnings call starting at 6:30 p.m., 30 minutes before their earnings call actually begins. If earnings doesn't end up going as planned this quarter and they don't post a better earnings per share than they did for last quarter and they don't beat Wall Street estimates, we could see their stock falling back into the 30s pretty dang quick. Judging from their 180-day 4-hour price chart and their 180 EMA line, NIO stock could fall as low as $37 by the end of the week, and with the increasing short pressure, this might end up sending NIO stock all the way down to their last resistance, now being the support at around $30. I encourage you to approach NIO stock with caution this week, whether you're a short seller or whether you're buying the stock. The stock moves drastically in both directions, so you could end up losing a whole lot of money if things go the opposite way. But with that said, what's the plan for NIO? Should we buy or should we sell? First, consider your position size. If NIO makes up a large percentage of your portfolio, then you're taking on a lot of risk at a very volatile time. You're going to see insane movements in both directions, and personally, that would drive me crazy. As of right now, I don't own any shares on NIO stock just because of how volatile it's been over the last month. It's hard for me to justify buying into a stock that has more than doubled just within the past month, but I am willing to put a little bit of risk on the table. So what I did, and this is just my trade that's based on my own thoughts and my own predictions, is I bought a call option expiring in 3 months for NIO stock. If you guys want to see the trades that I'm making in real time, I post every single trade that I make over on my Discord, which is going to be pinned in the comments below. It's a free Discord server with over 500 members in there that you can use to get some ideas about the market. You can follow my every single trade and see what stocks I'm watching every single week. Getting back into my call option though, I am planning to take profits on this option before earnings begins. Since I don't have a crystal ball and I can't tell you the exact numbers that NIO is going to report tomorrow, I'm limiting my risk accordingly. While this may end up limiting my profits, especially if NIO stock doubles in the next week like I'm expecting, at least this is going to help me sleep better at night knowing that I'm not risking $1,000 on this single trade. I'm going to be selling this call option whenever NIO stock is trading between around $54 to $58, and this should make me around $600 of profit right now according to the delta value. With the profits that I'm likely going to be making tomorrow, I'm going to be buying into NIO on the next dip that we see. I wouldn't suggest buying into NIO stock if it trades up another 100% and climbs to $80 like I'm expecting, but rather, I'll be waiting for a much needed pullback. The stock has already more than doubled within the past month, so the bears could be right here and NIO stock could be falling to as low as $30. At this point, if NIO does end up coming down to this price, I'll be buying a boatload worth of shares. Honestly, I am low-key hoping that it does fall, that way I can buy in at a discounted price, but based on the evidence that I've seen in my own opinion on that evidence, I think that it's more likely that NIO stock is going to be going up a ton this week. Now, I can't predict the future, so do beware of the potential downside for NIO stock this week, possibly falling to $30, and get ready to buy in on the next dip. Again, limit your risk accordingly going into this crazy week, and whether you're a bear or whether you're a bull on NIO stock, I wish you luck. That's all I've got for you on NIO possibly crashing by the end of this week. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, remember to stay positive, stay green. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.